So, making 2026 fun again without sacrificing your fitness goals, which is obviously a lot of the reason you're here. But we want to make sure fun isn't optional, it's essential. And that if we don't plan for it, oftentimes we fill the gaps with work, productivity, all the stuff that kind of is important, but takes us away from those experiences we want. Okay. So, first things first, on the form, part one, the North Star. I filled in some samples here to give you an idea of those three words that you want this year to feel like. Calm would be a good one too. Because when we're not chasing our goals, but we know they're coming, we're in a calm, collected state, things tend to happen better for us. So that's sort of where I'm headed with this. It's confident and calm. Fun, focused, free. Whatever those three words are that are going to really summarize what you want this year to feel like, type them in that box. And I'd encourage someone to type it in the chat too, just to get people's ideas flowing on this one. We want to make this super impactful for you. Okay. Good stuff. I like it. Calm, intentional, and successful. Beautiful. Happy, relaxed, and fun. Very nice. If we're not happy, what else have we? I like it. So next up, if 2026 was a win, what would be true by the last day of the year, December 31st? A couple examples. Again, you just want one clear one here. Fitness is automatic, second nature. 3 lifts a week, 8 to 10K steps a day. I'm more present with my kids' partner. Something along those lines, whatever is a win for you. You can have multiple wins. You can certainly list a few here, but don't get too caught up in too many, is the idea. So if you're willing to share that in the chat as well, just copy and paste it over. Help people out here. Sure, this document is going to be super beneficial. Okay. Stop me if I'm moving too fast. We got the 5K run for Linda. Nice. But the last one here is, what are you done tolerating in 2026? This is often the bottleneck that we need to break free from. So a couple examples starting over every Monday. It's a big one. Being too busy to take care of myself. It becomes self-fulfilling prophecies when we use these, I don't like the word excuses, but we use these bottlenecks to hold us back. Being just enough. I like that, Scott. Yeah. Setting a higher standard for yourself. 2.0 version. Oh, it's okay. No, we want great, right? We only get one crack at this. So let's make 2026 the year we take that big step forward. I like it. Anyone else? I know this is kind of stuff that you don't necessarily want to share in a public space. That's okay. But in some ways, it works better when you do. Terry, acting like a victim. Boom. Irene's got fitness maintained. Settled in new home, new friends, new activities. Yes. Love it. Not settling. Love it. Okay. Sliding back over to the visuals. Part 2 is trying to set up these quarterly adventures. So it can be low cost or no cost. It can be mid-range cost where you're going away for a weekend, or big ticket items, things that have been on your bucket list, a week in Europe or something. So some pie in the sky stuff, some just literally just a camping getaway, but having these kind of quarterly milestones, they almost say like the anticipation of a trip is more valuable than the trip itself. So having that quarterly every 3 months, it's also going to, focus you on your fitness goals. You want to look your best on the trip, whatever the case may be. But it gives you something to look forward to. Okay. So this one might take more time for you to work through, but that's part 2. Okay. So again, we want to try to set some rough dates and who's coming. And the next step that you'll take to plan this out, even if it's just blocking it temporarily in your calendar. But this could be, and I am just spitballing here, maybe not a Jets game with the way they've been playing, but overnight stay in a downtown hotel and a Jets game and kind of a staycation, essentially, right? So I haven't looked at the schedule, but we're saying March 30th. Who's coming? Family. Look at buying tickets and hotel. Easy enough. So this is going to be something you come back to. I doubt you're going to have all four of your quarterly adventures mapped out in your head, but just to give you some ideas, summer road trip, just a hike in June, right? That's free, depending on where you go. 5K hike. Manitoba theater performance. Okay, yeah, exactly. Something that you'll look forward to. That aligns. Okay. So you've got those placeholders for the quarterly adventures. Come back to this document by all means, but just so we have some ideas flowing here. Anyone else, feel free to drop in the chat. Because I don't, it's a lot easier when you plan. If you don't, the time goes by and you don't do anything, right? Okay. Part 2, all good. Something to think about. Make sure you complete this though in due time. So next up is the monthly mini adventures. Lori's got Thailand. Okay. Oh, there's some big stuff going on there. Nice. Love it. So the monthly mini adventures can be very simple, which is something that's a little bit off the beaten path from your day-to-day monotonous routine. So it might be a date night where the phones are put away for the whole night. You don't even have to leave the house. It's something. Maybe it's a day trip to go skiing. Day trip to Gimli. Again, I'm speaking to Winnipeggers here. We got Linda does that get together. That's pretty ambitious. Every month with high school friends. Very nice. Yeah, I think that's our lean Zoom user. Great idea to break this planning down. Yeah, we plan our goals and our work, milestones, but we don't really plan our life. And saw an Instagram reel. I think it was Jesse Itzler talking about how he does like a Mizagi, like a challenge every year and quarterly experiences. And I'm like, wow, this really makes sense. So that's what hatched this. So fill this in as you go. I'd love to see a few more, ideas in the chat for little mini adventures that aren't, too cost intensive, too time intensive. Certainly we're planning a weekend retreat. Hopefully in Pinawa, which is an hour outside of the city limits, not too bad. You could stay the day or overnight potentially, or you just come up for the day. So that would be one block, probably in June actually, with weather being a bit iffy in May. Beach day, family bike ride on a Slurpee. A holiday lights tour. See, it's not overly intensive. It's just something to kind of frame these adventures and memories around. Okay, awesome. We'll keep it moving then. These questions were just to get you thinking. What would make an ordinary weekend feel special? What's one place within a few hours from home you've never actually been to? Or even within your city? Oftentimes we do that. And if you had one free Saturday per month, what would you do with it, right? So those might help kind of paint that picture. Okay. We'll keep her moving. Part 4, family memories. So all of this stuff kind of ties into this, but we want to answer these questions first, okay? So what memories do you want to create in 2026? Free Saturday to probably clean. Oh, Linda, you might have to delegate that. Okay, so a couple examples. More photos where I'm in them, not behind the camera. So that ties to, feeling good about yourself. Great. For me, being the fun parent who says yes, I always try to be in this mindset no matter how I feel. I say yes within reason, depending on what they're asking. Kids will kind of push their boundaries but I mean, like if they want to go sledding, generally I'm the person that says, yes, heck yes, let's go. And being fit obviously ties into being able to do that, right? So it kind of gets your why behind everything. Any memories that you'd like to or willing to share in the chat, feel free, because I struggled with this one too. Like, what does that mean? So I think it's just quality time, but it's cut off. I've used up the max characters. So I guess we'll go with this. Okay, weekly rituals. This is something that I've really drop the ball on is like having something like a designated family walk on Sundays or no phone, homemade pizza Friday nights, something along those lines. Those aren't necessarily mine, but I'm trying to get in the headspace of what can we do every week as a family that gets out of the monotony of the day to day. So if you have ideas, please share them because I struggle with that one again. And then lastly, boundaries to protect your time. What do you in order to say yes to everything we're kind of putting in this document? So maybe it's no work emails after 6 p.m. No more missed workouts because I scrolled TikTok. I forgot to put the TikTok part. 45 minutes. I don't know what else. There's lots of ways to go about this, but saying no to someone that just robs your time and energy. You know the person. So important that you put these down because you'll be reminded when they come up of the commitment you made. Okay. All right. No memories coming up in the chat. You guys are struggling with this one. If you have any questions, I don't need to just keep rolling through this, but if anything's holding you up, feel free to unmute, drop in the chat. Yeah, I put the link in the chat above there. I think it's titled Untitled. For some reason, it came through as that. So you should be able to scroll up. Let me see if I can put it back in here. Yeah, there we go. So that opens up. You can type right in the PDF. Just make sure you save as or print as a PDF or print actual physical copy. Okay. So I'm going back to my filled in one here. Oops, jumping ahead. Okay, so think about that. The memories you want to create. We got Terry with quality time with Blaine and the girls. Absolutely. We've got weekly rituals, usually tied to something around family or friends that you can commit to each week. And then boundaries to protect your time so you have time for those things. All right. So we get a little grim here, but sometimes it's important to do the math on this stuff. Okay. So there was an old blog, waitbutwhy.com, that kind of had like the human life on a page and each dot represented a year. And it wasn't much. It was kind of sobering thought that, okay, we have a limited amount of time on this earth. So how are we using it? And one of those ways it helped me reflect is like, how many visits do parents or grandparents or kids do you have left, right? If you're 40s like me, your parents are roughly 25, 30 years older than you, and life expectancy is 80. Hopefully all of you guys will get 100 now that we got you in CalFit. But that's the average expectancy, right? So with that said, if you live away from your parents, not in the same postal code, the average is 2 to 3 visits per year during special holidays. So that literally gives you less than 45 total visits left with them based on the averages. So you've used up 90% of the time. So that's not decades of time, at least on paper, it's literally weekends. Right. So that gets you thinking, okay, well, maybe I should prioritize this. Right. And you can flip it the same way. If you're older or your kids are at that age where they have their own kids, everyone's busy, life expectancy is 80, then the same idea counts here, right? Now, if you live in the same city, the number is likely quite a bit higher, which is a good thing, which I'm in the same boat. So that gets us doing this math again. What do you say no to in order to get those visits in with them? Sounds good. So yeah, type of 1 in the chat if this is all making sense so far. You've got your document largely filled up. You're committed to filling the gaps at some point this week so that you have this as your blueprint for the year. Good stuff. So again, based on the averages, 10% of time remaining with parents, Annual fitness challenge. Okay. So I like to tie this less to like a scale weight. I know my internet says unstable again, so hopefully you guys can hear me. All good? Okay, good. So if you miss that, I don't necessarily like this one fitness challenge to be like the outcome you're aiming for, like 20 pounds lost or something. It's more about the action you're going to take. So it might be lifting weights 3 times a week for 12 months. Right? That would be a big one. Or run a 10K. I'm not a big runner, but that's a thing for a lot of people is setting a fitness goal, measurable goal like that. In this one, I have take 1 million steps. If you're tracking that, that's a pretty cool milestone. Schedule a scary hike. Not like a hike that is life or death, but one that might be really challenging for you at current state. That by the time it rolls around, you're really motivated to put your fitness up there to accomplish it. Okay. So hopefully you've got some idea of what that might be with the start date and end date, whenever you plan to do it, right? It might be just the end of the year if you're lifting 3 times a week. And then the rules of the game is just the process. So what do you need to accomplish to, say, run a 10K? You probably have to do some conditioning. You probably need to drop some pounds of protein at every meal, water, etc. And then your first 3 actions in the next 7 days might be schedule workouts, might be buy groceries, might be complete your first Monday check-in. Okay. So come back to this if you don't have something immediately in mind. Share it though if you do in the chat to get people kind of thinking. Something that's gonna really kind of put your neck on the line a little bit, that you have to do the work because you don't want to show up to this thing or whatever it is and not be ready to do it. And that's the power of it. Okay. Okay. So last part here to tie everything together. Where will fun and fitness live in your weekly schedule? And then what's your 7-day action plan? What happens starting tomorrow or potentially today to really lock this in? Okay. So for me, I just put a quick, brief Monday through Sunday schedule here of kind of what happens that day on a reoccurring basis to help me get to my goal. I lift weights every Monday, walk my steps. I lift again Wednesday, family walk Thursday nights, lift, outdoor activity, and then meal prep Sunday. So, it's a loose guide to kind of have something focused every day, moving you towards this big challenge goal. And then before you leave the weekend here, you complete the rest of this document. So you pick all 4 quarterly adventures. You fill in your mini adventures for January at minimum, but ideally at least through the first quarter. And then you set that 1-year fitness challenge at the end. And then type in your name and date. And make sure you save with changes. Okay. Or print as a PDF. All right. So with this document as kind of your guide, when you look back, December 31st, 2026, you've made more time for fun and family than you ever have before, or at least no worse. You've had 4, memorable adventures and up to 12 mini little adventures with those you care about, making memories. Got a bucket list challenge, fitness challenge completed. And if you do all that, you're likely in the best shape of your life because it all ties together. All right. Cool. So I will stop sharing now. Any questions on this stuff that arose while we went through it? I know we kind of rushed it, but hopefully this will be super helpful, impactful, as long as you actually use it. I didn't see you there, Abby. Anything to add to that on your end?
No, I like the fact that, we're health and fitness coaches, but I think we have to think beyond that. So I really like this is even good for me to do because I get wrapped up in not doing these things and life is short. And so I just think it's really important for everybody to understand that.
Yeah, we have our head
Fitness should fit into our life, not the other way around.
Mhm. Yeah, and it should benefit all these things so that you
Mhm.
don't feel held back by your level of fitness.
Right.
You know, book these adventures that feel daunting to your present state, but won't be soon. Life well balanced. Yeah, I've still struggled with the balance thing, but I think it's important to prioritize not just our work goals, financial goals, fitness goals, but live life.
Yep.
There you go. I love it. Focus and fitness the vehicle. Yes, that's nailed it. Anyone else? Okay. Hopefully you've got that doc filled in because it's one thing to go through a workshop like this, passively consuming, but where the real value is just actually doing the numbers in your head and getting serious about it. And then, yeah, once you have it written down, that's half the battle. You're going to start to move towards it in all areas, which is awesome. Okay, we can leave it there then. Going once, twice. Quiet group today. Wow. At least the chat was active. We'll take that. All right. See you guys. Have a good rest of your week.